Hey, what's up, y'all? You probably noticed something different. My background, it's real, not a green screen. And
I thought it was me. The different thing.
that's true. So I am trying some new things, new year, new things. We have moved into a new house, and that has caused the biggest reason for the absence in videos for a certain amount of time. And we now know that we're going to have a baby daughter.
Yes.
And it's super exciting. And I wanted to change up the way I did my videos and try to have some more conversations with people instead of just me sharing and trying to encourage one-on-one. Because I know I enjoy videos where there's conversation. I tend to learn more and better that way. So I'm going to see how this goes. And who better to be my first guest than Jesus, but he wouldn't appear on camera for me or audibly. So I chose my wife as the second best option. And
Not even close. Second option, but
not even close, but then like not even close to other people. So you're above third place. Way above. Okay. So
that makes sense a little bit.
I hope so. It made sense in my head. So what we want to have a conversation first about and hopefully share with y'all, obviously, but hopefully it be an encouragement, is our addictions. We're going to not go through them all like a laundry list, but to share our main addiction that we have had to actually confront each other with and say, hey, this is kind of a problem. And
yeah, I think these are ones that even from the beginning of the marriage they have been present, and we have been worked through it and then failed and then come back and then failed again and then but it's really exciting because it involves both of us on this journey. So of course we have several addictions and
learning how to handle those addictions together now.
Yeah.
I knew how to handle them solo, but now you have a partner and it changes the way your addiction controls you, and then how you fight it changes as well.
Yeah, and definitely it affects each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you might have had all your addictions under wraps, so to speak, but man, I was surprised how marriage changed that. Mm-hmm. And so without being vague for much longer, we're just going to kind of jump into our one major addiction from each of us. But so before we get into our personal one addiction per person here, I know my wife wanted to go over just a definition of what an addiction is before we move forward.
And I will let you read it.
Oh,
because they have
thank you.
Fancy words.
Fancy words. So the first definition, and the most of us are familiar with, is to cause to become psychologically or physically dependent on a habit-forming substance.
So our body or mind are dependent to this thing.
To a substance, to an actual thing. That was really great. I did a great job clearing that up. The second definition of addiction is to occupy oneself with or involve oneself in something habitually or compulsively. And that's more of the mental aspect, where it might not actually be a physical thing, but something more abstract. And how it consumes, as another way of saying, consumes your life.
Yeah. Another thing that I read about addictions is that the first symptom is cravings.
Mm-hmm. And I will just jump onto that and talk about my biggest addiction that has been affecting us, not just myself, but our marriage, has been sugar for me. I had that addiction on lockdown when we were dating, when we were engaged. I was able to, while we were having to go out to eat more often, I was still able to eat mindfully and not consume sugar. I'm not even talking about necessarily eating healthy, just avoiding junk food. And now, once we got married, like very shortly into it, long story short, I just got addicted to it and I could not let it go. And you saw that in me. You saw me just wanting sugar day after day. And I felt it. I could feel that addiction in me. I could feel my mind thinking about sugar, thinking about sugary stuff. Like, I just want this. And before, it never crossed my mind. And I had fought very well and successfully to get sugar out of my system for the most part. I mean, I wasn't a super health freak, but that refined sugar, if we're going to be more specific. And I didn't crave it anymore. And then I allowed a little bit of it in and I was okay, but then I let too much in and it consumed me. And how did that make you feel?
Well, yeah, it was kind of shocking because we both were trying to be very healthy when we were dating and engaged and all of that. And then we stepped in marriage and we kind of set up a expectation of at the beginning of the marriage, we're just going to enjoy and then kind of be laid back with food a little bit and kind of be
Too
fine.
laid back.
Too laid back. But you know, that fact of we finally are married, we finally just get to hang out without how you said it, curfew.
Curfew, yeah.
And so those were those times, but of course in my mind it's like, okay, certain point we just come back and I was ready to meal prep and I'm the one who likes to cook in this house. But I was really excited to come back and to start eating healthy and all of that. And I saw you don't want to go there. And
well, I did enjoy eating your food.
Mm-hmm.
So good. But on top of eating your good and healthy food,
you wanted to add the sugar. Yes.
I did. I was like, well, hey, let's have dessert. Let's have a ice cream afterward.
Yeah.
Or let's have this or that afterward for dessert. My favorite word was dessert. And that was bad. And you had told me, man, I kind of feel tricked because this is not what you said your lifestyle was. And now you're living this lifestyle that we do not agree on when it comes to health, when it comes to how we want to eat for our whole life, how we want to, what food we want to introduce to our kids. And
that was a big expectation on marriage before getting married. There was like, okay, we wanted to be healthy. We wanted to be a healthy family, trying to eat whole foods and just to bring to the table for us and for our kids too, mostly like whole foods, like not just super organic, vegan, not that, but
we're talking about nutrition, not necessarily like trying to be on a diet to look a certain way.
Yeah.
We were trying to take care of our bodies and be good stewards of it. And that was definitely a mutual expectation from ourselves and that we agreed upon. And then she really felt tricked by it. And I didn't necessarily tell her ahead of time, hey, I have an addiction to sugar, so don't let me have too much. And now it's to the point where I'm still fighting that. I'll get off of it and then a little bit more, and all of a sudden I'm craving it again. And I have to fight mercilessly to get it out of my system so that I don't crave it. And when I see it, I can crave it. And I have to have Steph literally right now, I have to have her like almost literally slap my hand. I have to come to her, and she does not like to do this. She doesn't want to be my mom. And
not at all.
But I can't control myself a lot of times. And I have to ask her like, hey, can I have this candy of whatever's type? And to be honest, afterward, when she says yes, sometimes I'm upset at her for letting me have it. But I don't obviously get mad at her for it because I understand that. And of course, she doesn't want her. I don't want her to be my mom. I don't want her to be in control of me in that aspect. I want to have my own self-control to be able to handle myself. And I'm not trying to live the super healthiest life. Like, of course, we're going to have desserts here and there. But the point is to only have them here and there and not, every single day of the week. But we could continue on with this conversation. Let's move forward. If you guys would love to hear more about this, leave a comment down below and we could even go further into this part.
One last comment about sugar.
Okay.
Sugar is bad for our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some good stuff that we can become addicted to also.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? So
yeah, and as Paul says in 1 Corinthians, all things are beneficial, but don't become a slave to anything.
Yeah.
And so that's always been a mindset of mine. Now, refined sugars, I wouldn't define as beneficial, but there are sugars in general that can be good, healthy sugars. This is not a health show today. But I don't like the fact that I am a slave to sugar. And then by connection, I'm a slave to companies that put sugar in their products so that I will buy them. So now it's affecting our budget. It's affecting our money. And it goes much deeper than that. And that becomes the bigger issue. It gets worse than just my personal health. And again, we could really dive more into that.
Okay. So I'm going to share now my biggest addiction that I have been fighting for.
What was she going to say? Subscribe and be notified when that video comes out. It'll be coming out soon. And if you like this video, as always, please hit the like button, and I'll see you shortly in the next video. Bye.